Now, these hormones activate receptors on the vagus nerve, which carries signals back into brain, again a biological interpretation of human behavior. The amygdala is the main site in the brain where those signals go. They activate neurons within the amygdala to signal other brain regions to strengthen the memory of what is happening. What he is telling us is, and those of you who have studied psychology, they will bear witness, there is an assumption that we have a memory tape, and that memory tape, which no one has ever seen or measured how long it is, how thick it is it curvy or straight, no one has any idea, but it is just a theory, a concept. So, this memory tape tells us or matches situations and then tells how to react. This is what he is telling us. The more intense the amygdala arousal, the stronger the imprint in emotional memory. The amygdala can trigger an emotional response, and automatically the emotional system can be independent of the neocortex, the thinking brain. This is very important to understand. What he is saying here is that although we have a brain, and that brain is thinking brain, we assume, but in situations which he is referring, amygdala, which does not have all those membranes and all those complex systems, but just like an almond, and we will share with you, next slide please. We will share with you the diagram that tells you about it. Here you see is amygdala, just like an almond, and here you have your neocortex, your cognitive processes, and then you have all these membranes doing their different functions and roles, and ultimately this thick nerve that takes down through your backbone to your whole body, a very, very sensitive and complex system which has taken millions of years for human beings to understand, and still we know very little about it, we do not know enough about it. So, what he is saying here, amygdala is an emotional brain, while what you see in front on your screen is a cognitive brain. Here you make decisions which are based on reason, logic, experience, but there you make instant decisions, and therefore amygdala in his view is very much important in coming up with any kind of human responses. The connection between the amygdala and neocortex are the hub of battle between head and heart. Head demands one thing, heart demands something different. Some responses to a perception take only 12 thousandths of a second. It is not just your snap judgment with your finger, but what he is telling us that 1/12,000 of a second. Look how quick amygdala makes a judgment, much faster than the brain. Perhaps brain can do more, but we are assuming that brain takes more time than amygdala. So, some responses to a perception take only 12 thousandths of a second. Proper management of emotional intelligence helps in making proper judgment. This is the key of the whole book, and this is what you do in a workshop where you pay 80,000 rupees for one day on emotional intelligence, and after giving you various stories, various life situations, sharing with you jokes and what not, and offering you a good lunch and some snacks and what not, the resource person leaves by the end, assuming that now you will be able to manage your emotional intelligence. So, the point here is that proper management of emotions emotional intelligence helps in making proper judgments. If we leave it free, then amygdala can overrule brain, and if we leave brain free, he can always eliminate and disregard what the heart is saying. In the empirical psychological paradigm, judgments are subject to pathological analysis of emotions. Therefore, when you are dealing with cases as a clinical psychologist, then in the back of your mind are those theories which you were taught for 18, 20, 25 years, which you read yourself in thick books, and all those books are written by some Austrian Sigmund Freud, by some German, by some British McDougall, by some American B.F. Skinner, by some other person known for his or Erich Fromm or anyone else, or Carl Jung, German, or any other. Now, when they write all those theories and books and analysis, then they cannot divorce themselves from their cultural background, worldview, concept of man. And consequently, in all their theoretical work based on empirical studies, there are assumptions which they never realize, and based on those assumptions they develop the whole science of psychology, which we inherit very proudly and feel that after doing PhD in psychology, now we are in a very good position to deal with the human psyche. You deal with human psyche from that specific eurocentric colonialist perspective fed in your mind through those books, but you never realize that. Anyhow, it's a separate issue, and perhaps you may disagree with me, and nothing wrong in that. After a long interaction with various disciplines in social sciences, I have my own views which reflect quite often in my discussion unintentionally. I did not plan for that, but that's how I am.